Hu Niu's eyes were staring fixedly at Feng Luo. She had sensed a very strong hatred towards Ling Han from this human, causing her killing intent to rise. She kept staring at Feng Luo's neck, thinking of taking a bite out of that neck and dealing with that human once and for all. Ling Han reached out and carried Hu Niu and said, "He's too dirty." Hu Niu was obviously reluctant, shrinking in Ling Han's hold. A powerful killing intent was still brimming in her eyes. Pah! Ling Han gave a stomp of his foot, and a sudden, earth-shaking wail was heard from Feng Luo. His whole mouth was filled with blood. He opened his blood and spat out 10+ fragments of teeth. It looked like his entire mouth of teeth had been shattered with this powerful stomp of Ling Han's foot. The agony caused Feng Luo to tear up and snivel. It was a pain that bore into his heart and went straight into his bones. But because Ling Han had finally raised his foot, he was able to painstakingly get to his feet. As his eyes swept over his surroundings, he felt that all the people here looked detestable to him. Indeed, they all watched as his whole mouthful of teeth had been shattered by a stomp of Ling Han's foot and did not even help one bit. Damn them! They deserved to die. However, he was well aware that the current him did not have the ability to oppose the people here. So he could only hatefully cast his eyes over all the people here before abruptly turning around to leave. Naturally, the person he hated the most was Ling Han. He would definitely not let the matter end here. Wei Hele was also unable to continue staying here, so he quickly followed in Feng Luo's footsteps and departed. Qi Yongye and the others all frowned. Ling Han's actions equated creating a blood feud between himself and the Feng brothers. This was not something that could be easily resolved. But, actually, the moment Ling Han had stepped on Feng Luo, this feud was already firmly established, and Ling Han was already firmly on the opposing side of the Feng brothers. As long as Ling Han continued to stay at the Imperial City, then no matter how overbearing Feng Yan was, he would still not dare to take action against Ling Han. Ling Han held no fear. In his last life, he had been a powerful warrior of heaven tier, though now he needed to start again from the beginning. Did he really need to feel dread towards two such minor characters? He would eventually kill the two of them. "Ha! The auction is about to begin. Let's go in," Qi Yongye said with a laugh. This time, thanks to Ling Han, they managed to suppress Wen Haixing and his companions, so he was extremely happy. "Let's head in together," Li Xichan suggested. "En?" He Junchen, Qi Yongye, and the others all revealed expressions of disbelief. Was this really Li Xichan? The twin pearls of the Imperial City, both stunning and devastatingly beautiful. That's how Lu Yutong and Li Xichan were known in the Imperial City. Li Xichan was not like Liu Yutong. The latter had the image of an icy beauty, always maintaining a distance from those around her, that none may trespass. Li Xichan, on the other hand, was very gentle, but underneath her lay a core made of ice. Though she was polite and well-mannered to everyone, she similarly exuded an aura that discouraged others from getting closer. And now, she actually invited Ling Han to join her, of her own volition. This was an inconceivable scene to Qi Yongye and the others. They were all wondering if they had misheard her, or if their eyes had blurred and they had mistook someone else for Li Xichan. But He Junchen's expression immediately darkened. From the start, he had disliked Ling Han, and now it seemed as if the girl that he admired had some kind of unknown relations with Ling Han, causing powerful jealousy to rise within his heart. "All right," Ling Han agreed, without thinking too deeply about it. The entire group entered the Spiritual Treasures Pavilion. In this imperial city, Qi Yongye's reputation was obviously not as useful as Li Xichan's, for Li Xichan actually had a private room which she led the others to. The room could accommodate 10 people, so it was not too much of a tight fit for them. He Junchen started to ask about Ling Han's identity in a roundabout way. Which party did such an awesome person come from? But when he found out that Ling Han actually came from Grey Cloud Town, a town under the jurisdiction of Dayuan City, he was instantly stunned. How could that be? A major, important character like Wu Songlin actually wanted to invite Ling Han to tea? He could not understand it. He really could not understand it. Qi Yongye and the others, on the other hand, had a slight idea what was going on. Because back in Dayuan City, there were already 3 black-grade alchemists that gathered around Ling Han. Though Wu Songlin's status was far higher than Zhu Haixin and the rest, it was still easier for them to accept such an inconceivable matter. Meanwhile, Ling Han was indifferent about what the others were thinking. The only thing he was focused on doing now was to see what good things he would be able to see in this auction. After 10,000 years, it appeared as if a lot of pill formula had been lost in the passage of time. For example, a treasure like the dark moon grass was actually reduced to being used to concoct the purple origin pill. Then, chances were that there would appear spiritual medicines that were extremely valuable, yet used very wastefully. Mere moments later, the auction began. Because the auction today was only the small-scale auction that would be held every month, while there were many participants, not many of them could actually pay large sums of money for the items on auction. As a result, the prices of the items on auction all fell into a reasonable range. Meanwhile, Ling Han was extremely astonished, because some of what he saw as extremely low-grade alchemical pills could actually be sold at exorbitant prices. These people were filthy rich, but very foolish. He was secretly pondering that it was perhaps time for him to concoct some alchemical pills. Though there were still monetary notes of about 100,000+ in his pockets, looking at the generous way the people here were throwing around their money recklessly, a mere 100,000+ silver coins really could not buy much. I don't know how many alchemists are present here today, but the upcoming merchandise is truly a valuable medicinal ingredient. The auctioneer performed with full effort on the stage. He gave a wave of his hand, and a beautiful female attendant walked onto the stage, carrying a tray. There were 3 herbs on the tray, and if one paid close attention, they were actually glittering like stars. "Second star grass!" Someone immediately called out. Second star grass is actually on auction. This is indeed a valuable treasure for alchemists, but for martial artists, this second star grass does not have much value. The auctioneer cleared his throat and said, "That's right. This is indeed the second star grass, which can be used to concoct the refreshing pill. I believe that most would know of the usefulness of the refreshing pill. It can refresh an individual's state of mind. For a martial artist, this indeed does not have much value, but for an alchemist, its value is beyond measure. For a martial artist, when their spirit was exhausted, they would not be able to continue moving their origin power and cultivate. Thus, the value of the refreshing pill for a martial artist was only extending the time he could cultivate every day to be a little longer. But who would have so many refreshing pills to squander? Even if he had 10, that only meant that he'd be able to cultivate longer for 10 days. And what use was that? But it was a completely different matter for an alchemist. Controlling flames was something that exhausted one's mental energy to a great degree. But some alchemical pills needed a very, very long time to be concocted. And if the alchemist's mental energy ran out midway and he did not have enough spiritual energy left, then what was to be done? It was in such moments that the refreshing pill would come into play. It would replenish the spiritual and mental energy of the alchemist, and he'd be able to successfully concoct an alchemical pill that he had initially been unable to concoct. Thus, Li Xichan's eyes immediately lit up. What alchemist dared to say that their spiritual energy was abundant enough to the point that they could concoct every single type of alchemical pill? Ling Han's eyes lit up as well. At the same time, he felt an irrepressible urge to swear. That was second star grass, and it could be used to concoct the second star pill. And what were the effects of the second star grass? To strengthen one's mental energy. One was used to replenish, and the other could be used to strengthen. How could they be the same? If it was merely replenishing, then it would work only one time. But if it was strengthening, then the effects were permanent. Moreover, even martial artists would scramble madly for the second star pill. And the value of the second star grass could not be compared to the value of the concocted second star pill. Ling Han was shaking his head mentally. The field of alchemy had degraded too much in this era. Previously, the dark moon grass was used to concoct the purple origin pill, and now the second star grass was being wasted to concoct the refreshing pill. He said to Li Xichan, "Girl, let me have this second star grass." Li Xichan knew that Ling Han was also an alchemist, So it was not a strange thing that he would want the second stargrass too, but she needed it as well. She could not help revealing a troubled expression. She could reject him. But this was a person even her master respected. But if she agreed, then wouldn't that mean that she would lose such a valuable medicinal ingredient? Seeing her expression, Linghan leaned towards her and said in a low voice, "I can sell you a cultivation technique that will allow you to speed up the recovery of your mental energy." What? Li Xichan forgot their surroundings as she suddenly yelled.